Freetown. Good morning, Sierra Leone. It's a pleasure welcoming you again to the midweek edition of your favorite program. It's Wake Up Sierra Leone, being broadcast live on the Africa Young Voices Media Empire across the globe. You're also hearing us on Radio this morning on 101.7 frequency modulation. As always, my name's Victor Jones. Now, whether indeed you're watching us or listening to us from the provinces or here in the capital city where we are broadcasting on channel 33 on the STV for our international audiences on 399 from across the world, you're heartily welcome. Now, of recent, you can also watch us online from around the world on this beautiful day. It's the 12th day, the month of August, this year 2026. Welcome to the 8th month of the year. We're slowly closing in on 2026. Now, we are broadcasting from the top of Tower Hill in Freetown here, the heart of the city. As always, you could send us your thoughts through comments on our socials, on Facebook, it's AYV News, on YouTube as well, and we're also broadcasting of recent on Twitter. So you can just, drop your comments on any of what we're discussing this morning on the program. Now, this morning, coming up, we shall continue the conversations around the controversy surrounding the amendment of the 1991 Constitution, as the House of Legislature under Section 108 concluded the amendment bringing to fruition an aspiration dating back over 2 decades. We will be speaking to members of Parliament from both the APC and the SLPP benches. Also this morning, today, Sierra Leone joins the rest of the world to commemorate the International Youth Day and the theme, different contexts, common aspirations. We shall be discussing the day and the role of young people in national development. And also today, inspiringly, 11-year-old Bethany Matilda Jasmine Chelsea Davis of the Tower Hill Kindergarten and Primary School has recorded the highest aggregate of 351 in this year's National Primary School examination. We will be hearing from our education reporter, George Bartolo Powell, on that later on. Before all of that happens this morning, let's get a quick message from our sponsor, Wakeup Commercial Bank, which will be followed by other advertisers. We shall be back with you soon.
More and more people are using Wakeup SIM Copper Plus in their everyday lives. Did you hear that? She just transferred money for her daughter's school fees. And this man just paid for some products. Ah, Mr. Abu, are you sending money to your wife again?
Yes, like Wakeup SIM Copper.
Ah.
Yes, like having money in my pocket.
Ah, excellent.
Thank you.
He just bought some eggs. The world is digital, so keep up with the times. Have you got a payment to make? If so, just download Wakeup SIM Copper Plus now. You can download the Wakeup SIM Copper Plus app from Apple iStore and iPad or Google Play Store for Android users. You see, it's fast, safe and reliable.
Morning. Ria, give me 30 Leone top up. Thank you. Hello, babe. How you dey do? Talk to Uba.
Hello? Hello?
Don't settle for a provider that cuts into your data and airtime.
Ria, give me all the 30 deals.
AfriCell gives you full value. AfriCell, now we network.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I can take money, 2 MoneyGram.
Welcome our PC Foreign Exchange Bureau head office. Sit down.
Thank you.
You can write them.
Waiting that mean?
Where you can take money to MoneyGram, Western Union, and any PC and Son shop, including with head office. You dey get 1% cashback instant.
Eh?
Yes, ma. You not tap there. Every Thursday we can collect money. Now 59 Wellington Street, you say you dey showing at the head office for the foreign exchange. You dey get 1% of that money you can collect. plus additional gifts.
Wow! You mean say for me 1% I dey get gifts?
Yes, ma'am.
Wetin na the gift?
You dey get gifts like 5 kg paddy jasmine rice. You dey get gifts like paddy oil, paddy milk, paddy mayonnaise, and plenty other paddy things then.
Una thank you.
You're welcome. And now you can call Kangoli go give you another lucky win and see what you go win you say.
Wetin you dey wait? No miss out on the Thursday special.
BC Foreign Exchange Bureau, don 1% the game plus Thursday special.
Feels good to see your face again. It's been a very crazy day. The joyous feeling in the air when rain falls on a sunny day.
Happy, yeah. Let the stars, let the roll.
Enjoy life's little pleasures with Maltina. Maltina. Share happiness.
As mama, I always want waiting best for me picking them, especially when it comes up waiting them for eat and drink. Now this make I always they choose Sarah juice because they make come from with local foods them and nutritious and it gets less sugar than the other drinks them. Not to me say so.
We lab test show say Sierra juice gets 50% less sugar than the other drinks them na the market.
Because we mama they know waiting best for we picking them, now you make we always they choose Sierra juice. Sierra juice and nutritious, a healthy and it's sweet. Sierra juice, not the taste of Salome.
Here's how to load your AfriMoney Visa card. Dial *161 *5 *4 hash. Press 2. Enter account ID on the back of your Visa card. Enter the last 4 digits on the card. Enter the amount. Enter your AfriMoney PIN. Please securely save your PIN to prevent unauthorized transactions from your card. For more information, call 088-326-326. AfriMoney Prepaid Visa Card. Safe, simple, accepted everywhere.
Right, welcome back, and just a reminder that you're still watching Wake Up Sierra Leone live on the Africa Young Voices Media Empire here in Sierra Leone. And now the country has announced the results of the 2026 National Primary School Examination, with 11-year-old Bethany Matilda Jasmine Chelsea Davis of the Tower Hill Kindergarten and Primary School recording the highest aggregate of 351. Dan Horrigan Memorial School in Tembe Town was named the country's best performing school with a 100% pass rate and an average score of 327.70 overall. 72.2% of candidate passed, with girls accounting for 3 of the 5 highest scoring pupils. Let's now hear from our education reporter, George Bartolo Powell, with pictures by Cheddar Darami.
Bethany Davis.
For Bethany Davis, the recognition follows a strong performance in the classroom where she had already distinguished herself in several subjects.
Proficiency, spelling, science, French, verbal aptitude, quantitative aptitude.
At 11, she has now secured the highest results in this year's National Primary School Examination.
The highest aggregate T-score obtained in the 2026 NPSC was 351. This was higher than the 346, which was the highest aggregate T-score of 2025. It was obtained by an 11-year-old female candidate, Davis Bethany, MJC, from the Tower Hill Kindergarten and Primary School.
Bethany says she is excited and humbled to have emerged as the leading candidate in this year's NPSC exams.
I feel excited and humbled at the same time. I'm proud of myself and I'm proud of my school. What popped up in my mind, I was very shocked at the first time because the minister was saying that 11-year-old girl came first for the entire country. I was so shocked and excited. I prepared by doing my homework, paying attention in class, and also seeking for guidance. I want to say a very big thank you to my parents and family because they've always been on my side whenever I'm down. I want to say a very big congratulations to them that we all sat the MPSC together. We did it. We really did it.
The result adds to a pattern of strong performance by girls in recent NPSC examination, although this year's weather result shows boys accounting for a greater proportion of the general results. Despite producing the highest score in pupil, Tower Hill Kindergarten and Primary School was not the country's highest ranked institution.
This is Dan Harrigan Memorial School at Tembe Town. This school emerged as the top performing school in the 2026 NPSC with a record of 100% pass rate. All 23 candidates who sat the examination passed the exams with an average score of 327.70.
The school's deputy head teacher says preparation began well before examination day.
We sent 23 pupils. We have 100% passes, and then for the preparation, we've been trying as a school. These are the kids that started here at the nursery department since nursery to prep 6. The teachers are working tirelessly to make sure that they have the acquired and the required notes, what they are supposed to have. Well, I feel excited, happy, and for the past years, we've been doing well, been trying, but this year, as the best performing school for the whole country, we feel blessed.
The Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, Konat Saki, says WAEC submitted results for 164,714 candidates from 5,228 schools. He added that 65.2% reached or surpassed the ministry's past benchmark, while results for 1,927 candidates were withheld over suspected examination malpractice.
It is important to note that the result of 1,927 candidates have been set aside by WAEC for a variety of reasons that include failure to submit continuous assessment scores and suspected exam malpractices.
For Bethania and the other high achievers, the results mark an important milestone. For the education authorities, the figures also leave the continuing challenge of improving performance while tackling examination malpractice. George Batulo Powell, AYV News, Freetown.
All right, many thanks indeed to George Batulo Powell for putting that report together. Now back to our studios for our first conversation. 2 days ago, Sierra Leone's House of Legislature under Section 108 concluded amendments of the 1991 Constitution, bringing to fruition an aspiration dating back to over 2 decades in this country. The process, however, did not go without controversies and huge tensions, as it were. The main opposition and ruling bench, while agreeing on a few clauses, largely disagreed on some other provisions, especially amendment to Section 42, which deals with the threshold for presidential pools, and Section 74(1 dealing with the PR system. Now, the disagreement landed the House into voting as a decider. The mode of voting becomes a major challenge, as the ruling bench argues that voting on clauses should be done by simple majority pursuant to Section 91(1. And the opposition argued that any act of amendment should take the form of 2/3 majority, as in Section 182B. The Speaker, Thomas, intervened with a ruling on the appropriate voting mode on clauses in the bill to be a simple majority, standing on Section 91, also referring the matter to the Supreme Court for opinion. Now, the opposition, disagreeing with the Speaker's ruling, went out of the Parliament. Now, nonetheless, the government bench and the PC MPs went on to pass the bill, leaving the public with mixed views. Now, so this morning, to discuss all of these, unraveling issues and what the law says, we have been joined by Honorable Indolo Moyo Gevao. He's Member of Parliament representing Kailang District for the Sierra Leone People's Party. And also he's flanked by Honorable Umfa Soriji Kuruma, who is Member of Parliament for constituency 114 of the All People's Congress Party. He's also the parliamentary spokesperson for the APC in the Well of Parliament. Good morning, gentlemen. It's a pleasure having you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Indeed. I'll start with you, Honorable Gevao. I mean, you've been coming, actually, one of the, I would say, the loudest voices during this debate in Parliament. Are you satisfied with how everything ended?
Yes, I'm quite satisfied the way everything ended, because we follow strict parliamentary procedure and follow the law as enshrined in the Constitution to the letter. And I am happy that a process that started since 1996, at least we started seeing results of it being promulgated by the House of Parliament, because we all know the constitutional review process started with the government of President Ahmad Tijan-Kaba of blessed memory, who put together the Peter Tucker report, and it proceeded or progressed to the government of President Ernest Bai Koroma, who also put together an 80-man committee headed by Edmund Kawan of blessed memory, of which committee I was a member representing the Sierra Leone People's Party. And that process also was taken forward or further by this current government, and developing a white book out of which, because of events in the country, came the National Unity Agreement, which also gave birth to the Tripartite Agreement, which now gave birth to certain clauses that found its way in this constitutional amendment bill, of which both APC, SLPP, and Paramount Chief members contributed to its being passed, at every stage. The entire House gave it their best at first reading, second reading, committee stage, and at third reading. Both APC, SLPP, and Paramount Chiefs were there present for the voting of third reading when the bill was actually passed into law. So it was not only SLPP and the Paramount Chief MPs that were present. We had APC present as well, voting for the bill to be passed into law, which has actually been passed into law. So as a Sierra Leonean who was there present during this second stage of this development, that is the 80-man committee that was put together by President Ernest Bai Krumah, and who also lived through the development until the minute that it was passed, I must say that I am really, really satisfied, and I thank God that I will be able to pass on those stages to my children, who in turn will pass it down to their own children who are yet to be born.
Dr. Mfa, I'm sure the situation for you would be different, so I wouldn't say or ask, if you are happy at all that the bill has been passed. I guess the question would be, what are your major grievances, hearing from the spokesperson himself?
Well, altogether is how the procedure went. If you can note, we were in the process up through the third reading. We went through the process up through the amendment of the clauses. We went through the process all the way to the last page of this bill, where sections were expunged because of their consequential nature, and where sections were expunged because they were entrenched clauses. And we were in the room and the well when we started to go clause by clause again, based on where the speaker had stuck pins. And of course, we were in the room when the first clause was read, that had to do with the Search and Nomination Committee. And of course, we argued our position, why we believe it should be changed from what was in the books before, that is 32.3. So we were in the room throughout the process, and we believe the procedure, the manner in which we can change the Constitution, the manner in which we can alter the Constitution, the manner in which we can amend the Constitution should be followed strictly by the book, that is the Constitution. Section 108 is clear how the Constitution can be altered. And Section 91, subsection 1, tells you how we can pass laws. But in Section 91, subsection 1, it is also clear there are other exceptions to how we can pass laws. And 108 is the only exception to 91.1, which states that any alteration of this section and the Constitution, 2/3 majority must be obtained. And it also went further in 108 subsection 8, that all provisions, all sections, all references should follow the 2/3 majority for them to be changed in the Constitution. And any deviation from that will be considered treasonable. So for us, we did not want to be part of that situation. And if you note, in the beginning, before we move on SO 46.1, which is the division, that is, a head count of all members of parliament should be made. We stood up, we did the collection of voices, and when division came, everybody was counted. And the total number of members of parliament counted were 96 on the SLPP side and 49 on the APC side. So even at that moment, if you take a total number of the votes There was no two-thirds. Let's say if the speaker was going to use 91-1, there was no two-thirds at that time. If he was going to use members of parliament present and voting, because two-thirds would have given 96.6. And in mathematics, you round up, you don't round down. So we know that was not there, but it was clear, it is clear by the book that any alteration to that constitution, clause by clause, in the third reading, should be done by two-thirds. We could have killed the bill in the second reading by voting at that time, because it's clear also in the constitution that two-thirds must be attained to move from a second reading to the third reading. But there were a lot of clauses in the bill that we have agreed on, where we had convergence of belief or trust or agreement that we should change them.
Which are these areas?
Well, when it has to do with the dual citizenship, participating in governance and being ready to be appointed ministers, when it has to do with even the search and nomination committee, they did not indicate a strong disagreement to it, and besides, it is something that we had agreed upon as two parties in the agreement for national unity, that a change must be made, and that is why we had boycotted when the president went against that when he appointed. We agreed it was not illegal at the time, it was by the constitution because it was in the books. But as a country, as a progressive nation, we had believed that we had to change that. So there are other issues that we had agreements on that we believe we should keep or move forward with or amend the constitution to make it more progressive. So we did not want to kill the bill at that stage in the second reading. But the disagreement came in how do we amend clauses in the third reading before the final call on votes for that third reading. And the Speaker said it should be on simple majority. But if you look at previous rulings by the Speaker, he has always stated that two-thirds and the Constitution should not be abrogated, we should not go against it. Even in the removal of the Auditor General, he referenced Section 137, subsection 7, and also Section 91, subsection 1. So at this time, we just believe that he went against what the Gronom states, and we couldn't be part of that.
Honorable Geval, do you disagree? I mean, Dr. Mfa has said that what the Speaker did was unconstitutional, was treasonable, and all of the other, stuff he has accused him of. Do you agree?
No.
These were actually the grievances
No.
of the APC.
I always say law is not Greek and Roman history. And because it is not Greek and Roman history, that is why the very Constitution bestowed power on only one of the courts that makes part of the Superior Court of Judicature the powers to interpret it, which is the Supreme Court. Firstly, the view that the Speaker held is the view that I had held long before. If anybody followed my debate, I held that view ipsissima verbal. Now I will come to recapitulate how the events unfold, and perhaps my brother will agree with me here. Like he rightly mentioned, they participated fully first reading, second reading. And the clause the provision that he's relied on did say if that was really what they were relying on and were convicted of, it says unless the bill is supported by two-thirds majority at second and third reading. You ask them a question. Why was it that if you thought and believed that this bill ought to have been passed by the strict interpretation of that clause, why didn't you insist that at second reading we vote by two-thirds majority? Why did you concede to the House voting and passing that stage by simple majority? That's a fundamental question that they had to answer.
So why, Dr. Mfa, would you mind to answer this?
Yeah, because we wanted it to go to the third reading because there are several clauses there that we believe that it's progressive and we need to make those changes in the Constitution. Because if we voted against it, which they did not have the 99 to take it to the third reading, we'll have essentially killed the amendment of the bill.
So the treason that they are accusing Mr. Speaker for is a treason that they themselves have been part of committing, if what he's saying is correct. Because the law says this, you have compromised the law because of your own reason. That is what he's trying to say in his answer. And we are trying to say they compromised, they did not raise that issue because that is not the position of the law. That they believed, even at that stage, that the position of the law is the position that Mr. Speaker has held. That's why they could not stand on division for us to vote by head count. Now we went to the committee stage, of which they also participated fully. We struck pins on clauses, we debated clauses, we agreed on clauses, and we adjourned. And be mindful of the fact that Mr. Speaker was very careful, did not rush with any process on this bill. He adjourned even when we members of Parliament thought we could have passed it on the first night when we were in Parliament up to 2 o'clock. After second reading, he adjourned. We went and came again. At committee stage, I think he adjourned twice. So from between second reading and the third reading, we had like 3 adjournments. And I can still vividly remember when we were agreeing to disagree, one very senior Sierra Leonean that I have so much respect for, Dr. Kalfala Mara, I met him at the door going towards the canteen. He said, can you guys have this bill adjourned so that we can hang heads on some of these issues? And I went and actually whispered his idea to Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker reasoned to say, I mean, APC and SLPP and other political parties, other is people that do not actually belong to political party. We all own Sierra Leone together. If people are of the view that we delay a little bit so that we have a very good law, why not? So Mr. Speaker adjourned. So now back to the process. At committee stage, on the day that the bill was passed, we now came at a point where we had to vote on clauses. My brother, even though the Constitution is as complex as we can say, but when you are using interpretation canons, one of the interpretation canon that is used is the literal rule. In using the literal rule, you take the meaning of the sentence or paragraph as it actually should be. If it is S, you just use it as S. If it is A, you interpret it as A. So you don't need to be a lawyer to use that rule in understanding what the clause, the section that they worked out on actually meant. Section 108, subsection 2B reads, unless the bill is supported by 2/3 majority at second and third reading. It did not make reference to a clause. It did not make reference to a committee stage. If it had read, unless the bill is supported, or unless the clause, or unless the clauses are supported by 2/3 majority, perhaps they could have been right. If it had said, unless the clauses at committee stage, if it had read, unless the bill is supported at committee stage. We were at committee stage, no mention of clause, no mention of committee. I stood up there and told my brother, Abdul Kagbo, the leader of opposition, that law is not engineering. The text of this provision that you are standing on to say it meant alteration did not make reference to clause. We are at committee stage. At committee stage, you don't even contemplate 108 paragraph, 108(2) paragraph B. At committee stage, you avert your mind to section 91, which talks about simple majority and stuff like that. And my brother, Honorable Dana Krumah, brought analogies as if Gambia is at war, if Sierra Leone will say they are not at war, if your head is aching, you will say your entire body is not aching, which are totally unrelated to the interpretation of Constitution. So by and large, they worked out. And there are times as Sierra Leoneans and as brothers, we have to tell each other the truth, particularly when you are seized of knowledge more than the other person who would have made the mistake. I will tell my brothers on the APC side that they made a fundamental blunder by walking out of the house on the interpretation of Section 108 as against Section 91 at committee stage, wherein we voted on the clauses. And again, they actually did vote at that stage. When we voted on the consultation issue and such a nomination committee, SLPP got 97 votes. APC got 49 votes. It was at that stage that we came to realize from one of their members that 3 of their members actually did not come to parliament on that day. 2 of their members actually voted for Sierra Leone, that consultation be retained in the extant law. That is Honorable Mohamed Bangura and Honorable Thompson. They voted for Sierra Leone because on this bill, we did not vote SLPP. We voted for Sierra Leone. We did not vote for, like President Bio said, we did not go there to vote for President Bio, who is leader of SLPP, or for Payan Sané, who is leader of APC. We went there to vote for Sierra Leone. So those who believed in that particular clause and who think walking out of parliament, even when the constitution has not been mutilated, violated, or abused, it's not the right thing to do. Stay. Because, my brother, this is the second time we have seen a similar pattern. When the current Chief Electoral Commissioner was appointed, everybody in Sierra Leone said it was legal, but our brothers walked out. On this occasion, everybody, even an LLB1 student or an A-level law student, will tell you that what they walked out on was wrong and illegal. They have no substance in law. But they walked out, and Sierra Leone has to move on, particularly when the stage is set for the laws to be passed rightly, procedurally, without actually violating the spirit of the Constitution. So that was what we did.
Let's pick up the issues, one after the other. Now, Dr. Mfa said that as a party, they had agreed with the SLPP that some of these clauses would be enacted. For example, he mentioned the Search and Nomination Committee. Why did you kick against it after you had agreed?
So, right.
That was a fundamental. In fact, by the way, that's a provision from the tripartite report.
Yes.
But even the international guarantors came when you had the disagreements, when they walked out of the parliament at the first time, when, Edmond Alpha was being, nominated and later appointed.
So,
why would you kick against something that is the spirit of even the tripartite agreement?
So we have to understand that the way Parliament operates and the way committees operate are different. Okay. Such a tripartite committee is a committee representing APC, SLPP, and moral guarantors. Parliament is, the constitutionally constituted body that represents Sierra Leone.
But that document is one of the reasons why, in fact, this particular act is being amended in the first place.
Charged with the responsibility of making law, primary responsibility. And whatever bill that comes to Parliament, we look at it as a proposal, a mere proposal. We have the mandate to vet it, to change the entire text, the entire character, and even re-legislate a fresh law that is totally different from what came. So now, if SLPP members and APC members had actually just sat down to say, no, we are not going to agree, then fine. But we debated it, and we followed the procedure, and the motion was so put. We did not just go to say, no, we are going to get rid of it. We advanced the pros and cons of it. One of the pros was that the Search and Nomination Committee that says that they have to nominate somebody to the president did not give the president any sanction to say, if you refuse to appoint this person as a Chief Electoral Commissioner or Chairman of the PPLC, these are what will happen. In the very Constitution, the president has supreme executive authority, which gives him the right to do anything, such as even removing his vice president without making reference to Parliament. Supreme executive authority, which was done by the erstwhile government and sanctioned by the Supreme Court. And up to now, it is law. If President Bio gets up today and it happens that President Jules Jallo loses his membership in SLPP, President Bio in 2 hours can sack President Jules Jallo because of Supreme Executive Authority. That is law. practiced by President Ernest Bai Koroma and sanctioned by the Supreme Court. So when we looked at Supreme Executive Authority and we looked at Section 61 and other section that says the president has the right to hire and fire, then we now realize that this such a nomination committee would be an exercise of futility.
Why you feel so?
We said,
don't you think it's democratic? At least to sanitize the process a bit. I understand that perhaps, in fact, the idea behind these legislation is also to, well, I'm sure the SLP will kick against it, but to reduce the powers of the president. Not in a bad way, really, just to support democracy. Don't you?
And this is what some of us believe. Being a president is not being a head boy of a school. Being a president is not being a head of an institution. When they say Supreme Executive Authority, a fountain of honor and justice. The drafters of that constitution were very deliberate. I mean, we have a hybrid constitution that is reflective of the Westminster and the American style. I mean, this is the constitution that we had used right through 1991 down to this part. Granted, there are certain provisions there that we all think are challenging, but with a little bit of tweaking, they are okay. I had always said in this room, when you have somebody that is less sensitive, that issue of consultation is something that one really cannot lose sleep over. President Ernest Bai Koroma, I was there once as national officer when John Oponjo Benjamin was chairman. He went through the process of consultation in appointing the commissioner for Eastern Region. There was no hue and cry. He did not write letter. He did not ask for our consent. He merely said, I am appointing this person. But because we believe in our strength, we believe in working hard and winning election, not things being handed to us on a platter of gold. We allowed it. What is happening in Sierra Leone is the fact that our brothers are really not ready to compete the way you should compete to earn the confidence of the people. They want everything to be handed down to them.
Are you not ready to compete, Dr. Mfa?
So they have this fear.
So first of all, let me make
that happens.
Allow him to just
they
finish.
really go against it.
Okay.
So for me, consultation, we agree that we have to retain it in the extant law. A motion was floated as it ought to be.
And
they
voted.
participated in the process and they worked out illegally out of the House of Parliament.
Dr. Mfa, a lot of people would see the APC as, you know, why they may sympathize with you to being the underdog, but again, a lot of people will blame you for walking out on the nation. They'll take it to be.
We did not walk out on the nation, but let's be clear. Even in the second reading, as he's stating, if you go to the votes and proceedings of Parliament, the Speaker did say 2/3 of votes have moved, the House having attained 2/3 of the vote, the bill will now go to the third reading, or the bill has passed the second reading. So in the second reading, 2/3 was proclaimed by the Speaker, that 2/3 was attained. So we did not walk out on the people of this country. I need to clarify some things as well. Honorable colleague here said in committee stage does not say third reading. It says the Constitution says section, not clauses. So the committee stage.
Bill, I'm here. Bill.
He said the bill.
Bill, not
the bill
clauses.
does not say clauses. It said the bill does not say sections. It says clauses.
No.
Every lawmaker.
Let me correct
no,
that
don't correct me. Let me
here.
explain.
No.
Every lawmaker knows that a bill. Every lawmaker.
Maybe you have misquoted.
No, I'm not quoting him. Let me explain.
Misquoted me.
No, I'm not.
One second.
When you have your chance, you can explain.
Okay, all right.
You've had so much time to explain.
Hold on. Okay.
So when a bill is brought to Parliament, all sections in that bill are called clauses. They are not called sections until they make it into act, or in this case, if a constitution is amended, it becomes a section in the Constitution. That is a known fact. So the Constitution do not have to say clauses, because all proposals that come to Parliament are in clause form. And all proposals that come to Parliament are in a bill form until they become law. We all know, as members of Parliament, that in the third reading, the House goes to a committee stage of the whole House, where the Speaker becomes a chairman of the House. It doesn't have to say that in the Constitution. It says it in the standing order. So it is clear that if they are referring to sections, it means the clauses will become sections once changed.
Okay.
Even though they are proposals, but their changes will impact the Constitution. That is why we are saying the Constitution in Section 108 clearly states that every alteration to this Constitution, all alteration of sections to this Constitution must attain 2/3. So we did not work out on the people of this country.
Okay.
We did not want to be part of a process that tells the people of this country that it's okay to change this book, the Constitution, by simple majority.
Okay.
I want to make this also essentially clear, that if it was so simple to change the Constitution, and by the way, when the Speaker ruled, when we were out of the well, he said the votes have been attained by simple majority. So even after the third reading, his statement was, the law has passed, the amendment of the Constitution has passed on a simple majority, which contravenes the Constitution. And 91 says exceptions to this are in 108. Any exception, except any vote in Parliament, except the exceptions. And the exception is in 108 that talks about the bill and talks about the Constitution. That's the only section that talks about the alteration of the Constitution.
Doctor, what if you had stayed in the well that day? What if you had stayed?
It means if we had stayed, we would have voted on a simple majority, clause by clause. Voting on a simple majority, clause by clause, goes against the Constitution, goes against Section 108, goes against the alteration of the Constitution, goes against the alteration of sections in the Constitution, which is treasonable. And the Speaker in his ruling said, this is what he will rule, but he's subjecting it to the interpretation of the Supreme Court. So interpretation by the Supreme Court...
Do you think his decisions were just?
Well, as a Speaker, his decision is justified in the books because he said the decision by the Speaker is final, but according to the Constitution, it is unconstitutional. So, I mean, we couldn't be part of that, and the rhetoric has to be clear that we want to go in the records, that we were not part of the people that changed this Constitution. We were not part of these people that went against the provisions of this Constitution that our founding fathers or the drafters of this Constitution had in mind. Let's be mindful. This is a multi-party Constitution that this country has benefited from since 1991. And this is the first multi-party Constitution that we've benefited from. And we should not be seen changing it, going against what we suppose that it will be the thing that guides us in running this country altogether, or the process that gives us a legitimacy to run this country.
You know, Honorable Gavel, let me read something to it from the Lawyers Society. I'm sure you've seen it, but I'm particularly concerned about these 3 paragraphs. It says the Lawyers Society is deeply concerned that Parliament reportedly passed the Constitutional Amendment Bill 2025 without meeting the express requirement in Section 108(2)(b) of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, which requires the votes of at least 2/3 of the total membership of Parliament. The Constitution set out the procedure for its own amendment. Parliament, including the Speaker, is therefore bound to comply strictly with the requirement and procedures established by the Constitution. Where the Constitution requires a 2/3 majority of the total membership of Parliament, 2/3 majority of members present and voting, or a simple majority under Section 91 of the said Constitution is not sufficient. We're particularly concerned because in proceedings concerning the removal of the Auditor General, Leone, the Speaker distinguished between 2/3 of Parliament and 2/3 in Parliament. His ruling recognized that the former refers to the constitutionality prescribed, therefore, based on the total membership of Parliament, while the latter refers to the proportion of members present or participating in the vote. This is from Lawyers Society, actually interpreting what happened in Parliament. You know, according to them, it appears as though they're saying that the Speaker had gone against what the letter of the law says. They referred him even to what he had done, you know, during the removal of Leone, who was the former Auditor General.
I will tell you, the Lawyers Society are not charged with the responsibility to interpret the Constitution. The Supreme Court is.
Okay.
I hold the view that either way, the bill was passed the right way. Whether you construe it as per simple majority and you construe it as per two-third majority, the bill met the threshold of two-third majority. And if you also construe it by simple majority, the bill was duly passed. I will explain that aspect why I believe that the bill met the threshold of...
Shouldn't the law guide in these kinds of, hearings in Parliament? Shouldn't the law guide, especially when it comes to voting?
So now, you had Honorable Bundu here yesterday, who made a very brilliant point that 108 did not say all members of Parliament. You understand? When the Constitution wants to be very clear, it will say unless all members of Parliament. And I heard the young journalist saying there was a definite article there. So what's the meaning of the definite article?
Can you clarify that one as well?
There is an ambiguity over this piece of legislation. The Supreme Court will have the responsibility to interpret it, not Lawyer Society, not Sierra Leone Bar Association. I will subject it to my own interpretation.
Okay.
I had long interpreted this section to my students that I lecture constitutional and administrative law in my own way. And I knew, even in Parliament, I knew this day will come
up.
because our understanding of the clauses differ. So the question is there. And I am sure one Sierra Leonean who really loves Sierra Leone will institute an action. So what this Lawyer Society is doing, if they so love Sierra Leone, they can just test the law, go to the Supreme Court. What does Section 108.2 means? Okay? Yeah. Does it mean simple majority or does it mean two-third majority? And the Supreme Court will rule. That's why we have these bodies that are specialized. But if you just sit down and be tweeting and sending it on social media, you're doing Sierra Leone no good. So again, my colleague was trying to do an explanation of my submission, which I said he got wrong.
Okay.
I said, and I will read, that the clause that they relied upon did not say section. Okay. It did not say clause. It said bill, and I'll read it. It says, B says, the bill is supported. It did not say the clause or the section is supported. The bill is supported on the second and third reading by the votes of not less than two-thirds of the members of Parliament. This was what they were relying on. And we were saying at this stage, you cannot even contemplate relying on this because it did not reference clause, it did not reference committee stage. If you had insisted on this at the second reading, at which point you said we had to go with simple majority, as the case might be for your very own reason, maybe you would have made some sense there, but you did not. So, just for clarification.
Yes, Honorable. I wanted to ask this fundamental question. Because we've spoken to a lot of lawyers, actually. People who are from the legal community. Researchers, even some journalists. I'm sure you watched our program yesterday. One of the arguments that have, come up is this. People are saying that it's not the place of Parliament to interpret the laws of our books, but to promulgate them, meaning to make them. Where do you stand in this debate? Is it indeed correct to say that Parliament should not interpret laws, as we saw in the case of the Speaker the other day before he made the ruling, interpreting the laws?
I agree. Parliament.
So it's not the place of Parliament to interpret laws?
We are not charged with the responsibility to interpret the law.
Why did the Speaker interpret the law and made a ruling, in fact, on it?
Mr. Speaker did not interpret the law. Mr. Speaker gave reason. He gave reason for his decision. He did not. If he had
Isn't that interpretation to you?
No. If he had interpreted
making sense of the clauses as we heard him,
if he had
and even referring to us to sections.
The Speaker has the right to give rulings in Parliament. He would attest to that. To explain himself.
Okay.
He explains himself. He explains his decision.
So to you, that was not interpretation.
No.
It was
When
explanation.
Yes.
But what's the difference between explanation and interpretation in this context when it comes to the law?
Interpretation, it's when you are charged with the responsibility to actually perform that particular function, and the outcome of that function becomes final. We say responsibility is bestowed only on one body, which is the Supreme Court, which he acknowledged, hence referred the issue to them, bearing in mind that he is not part of the Supreme Court. So I will say he did not interpret the law.
But would you agree that it would have made more sense, perhaps, you know, I know he's a speaker and he carries a lot of, you know, wealth of experience, knowledge and all of that. But would you agree that it would have made more sense if perhaps he had stood down Parliament on that day and referred the case to the Supreme Court for interpretation first before making the ruling later on? Don't you think he had, you know, beat the gun?
I believe what he actually did was the right thing to do.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Dr. Mfa? You think that was the right thing to do? We are discussing what the Speaker did now, you know,
by no means,
tapping the laws and all of that.
By no means will have been the right thing to do. I mean, because we were undertaking a critical function that is sacred. And the Constitution, as a speaker, in the words of the Constitution, is a speaker, it is supreme. And it is the supreme authority of the people of this country. So any change to that is one of public interest, one of national interest, and should be carefully guided in the process. And the justification of the 2/3, as he's saying in the bill, if you go to section 108, subsection 3, where it talks about the Constitution. And if you allow me, I can read. A bill for an act of Parliament enacting a new Constitution, or altering any of the following provisions of this Constitution. So a new Constitution or altering any of the provision of this Constitution. And it's referenced chapter 3. Then if you go to section 30, subsection 6 of the Constitution, where my honorable colleague here said, and the section 108 did not talk about what 2/3 are, it says in subsection 6, in determining the appropriate majority of all members of Parliament, account shall only be taken of the persons actually and validly existing as members of Parliament at the relevant time. So which means all members of Parliament that are alive at the relevant times should be taken into consideration. Account should be taken of that. So if we had any shadow of doubt, or if the Speaker had any shadow of doubt, or even my honorable colleague here had any shadow of doubt, this should have explained it. It's there. And as he said, the Constitution is clear in terms of text. Any student that reads can understand it. Of course, we agree that the interpretation is in the hands of the Supreme Court. But for us in Parliament, if I was seated there as a speaker, I'll be going what is written in this Constitution, not about what I think.
And you think what the Speaker did is what he thought was right?
His thoughts. And the decision so critical should not be made by thoughts. That's why we had a guide. Just like when you're praying, you are guided by the religious books. You don't go with your own thoughts and say you're praying. So if we believe in the Constitution, then we should be going by what is written and not what we think.
One of your strongest members in the party, Dr. Bladden, thinks you made a critical mistake on that day by walking out.
Well, I think that's her position. She's entitled to it. But we had our position because we did not want to be part of a process that is treasonable. We did not want to be counted as members of Parliament that were there when something went against the Constitution, that will be counted as being there. Because abstinence is also part of voting, which means we will have voted in that process. So we wanted to be counted out of that voting process. Our presence there...
But you could have still been in the well without voting, actually.
That's abstinence. And abstinence, if you look at it, is a form of voting. So it's also voting. So you are not saying yes or no, but sometimes they say silence also is consent. Like you remember, even in the second reading, when the votes were asked, collection of voices, the SLPP side answered yea. The APC side did not say anything. right? But we are counted in that vote when the speaker made his pronouncement that 2/3 of the votes have been achieved to go into the third reading or to pass the second reading. So we did not want to be part of that.
Let's look at the future. I know a lot of things happened, actually. One of the other things that people have been saying that, I don't know, but that's why you're here. Let's hear from you this morning. We observed that both aisles kicked against, the proposition to have independent candidates to run for elections in this country. In not so many words, why did you make such a critical decision? I will start with you, Unfa.
Well, I think rightfully, we've not had enough discussion about this. And
about that particular clause?
No, yes, okay. Because the notion now is that we kicked against it because we don't want an independent candidate.
Yeah.
But we were guided that by even the deputy leader of government business at the time, that having or introducing an independent candidate, there are other consequential clauses that we need to address before we do that. And the House did not have the time to do all of that, and that it should have been considered in bringing all of that in the bill at that time. That was one.
Okay.
We had also agreed among ourselves that, yes, it is okay to have an independent candidate, but there should be safeguards in terms of who qualifies to be an independent candidate for president. That is, it should not have been an active member of a political party aspiring to be president under that political party within a period of time before the elections. Because normally or naturally, some people will say, I want to be an independent candidate after they've been denied the flag bearership of that political party. We believe pretty much you will have advantage or disadvantage the political party that you've campaigned with for the flag bearership. You have gotten a following through that political party, and naturally you move all of those people into your independent candidacy. So we believe there should be a safeguard probably 1 year or 2 years before that time. So meaning if you want to be an independent candidate, you should come outrightly and say, I want to be an independent candidate. I'm not going under any party ticket to be president of the country.
Honorable Givao.
Like he rightly said, it will weaken political party institution because you'll have people to whom importance and popularity has been borrowed, moving at the nick of time to elections to hold themselves out as independent candidate, thereby undermining the very institution that lend that importance to them. So there is really nothing wrong if anybody can go through the process of having his political party with the view of having a national appeal, perhaps by having offices in all the regional headquarters, having representative executive members in all the regional headquarters. Mind you, the reason why the constitution of every political party makes those provisions, for example, you have zonal representative, sectional representative, chiefdom representative, district representative, is because they want, if you are to be president of Sierra Leone, your presence should be cut across Sierra Leone. Your presence should not just be a presence of one person. So I think that's our rationale.
Honorable Giver, have you read the APC's press release on this particular? There's a particular clause here. It says, so the Speaker ruled that the bill is passed by a simple majority while acknowledging that his ruling remained subject to the Supreme Court's interpretation of the relevant constitutional provisions. In the considered view of the APC, this ruling is inconsistent with Section 108(2)(b) of the Constitution, Standing Order 44.3. The Speaker's own earlier position on the voting threshold required for constitutional amendment. If the Speaker considered the constitutional position uncertain and requiring interpretation by the Supreme Court, the prudent and constitutionally responsible course would have been to obtain that interpretation before ruling on the threshold and allowing the bill to proceed. Parliament should not first alter the Constitution and leave the legality of the procedure to be determined afterwards. That's their position.
So I will say again, I have not...
Do you disagree with all of what I've read?
Yes. I have not read the text of the Speaker's ruling. But if you follow the procedure at third reading, I had maintained that we secured a 2/3 majority. And if you go to the very SOs that they have quoted, if you go to SO 44.3, yes, I am now referencing them to SO 44.4.
Okay.
If you go to SO 44.4, it says, I mean, the Speaker, in computing 2/3 majority and may reference to section 29 in circumstances where we are to vote for state of emergency, can take cognizance of members of parliament that took official leave of him and deduct them from that computation, okay, and compute 2/3 majority, I mean, by those who are present in the absence of those who took official leave of them.
Okay.
So, if you go to the Hansas, as at the time of voting, Mr. Clark said 2 of their members that were present did take official leave of them. 2 of them, which brought the total number of members of parliament on that day to 146. If you take 2/3 of 146, it's 97. If you take the votes that the House got, it was 97. I mean, you can carefully go through that. The Speaker said 2 of their the clerks reported to the House, the Hansas are there, the cameras are there, that 2 of their members took official leave from them.
Okay.
If you take the number of members of parliament as at that stage, it amounts to 146. If you take 2/3 of 146, it gives you 97. If you take the votes that were counted, in fact, if you follow the procedure, at third reading, Mr. Speaker asked every member to stand up and to be counted. In fact, he wanted us to be counted by the microphone. So each and every member of parliament was counted. And I had said on your sister station that there was a paramount chief, or there is a paramount chief who is presently ill. Though ill, he came to parliament to vote for Sierra Leone because it is his constitutional duty to vote for Sierra Leone. So I am here submitting that the bill was passed with a 2/3 majority. And the very SO says parliament can regulate itself. So Mr. Speaker, under SO 44.4 is charged with the responsibility of deducting those who took official leave of him in computing the 2/3 majority. He has his SOs there, okay? And it was there stated again that 2 of their members took official leave of the House. So I will maintain, as a member of parliament and somebody who participated for Sierra Leone, that the bill was so passed with 2/3 majority.
Right.
The Speaker had referenced the question to the Supreme Court, in my opinion, on the confusion of whether it has to be 2/3 majority, not 2/3 majority, of which it is only the Supreme Court that has the responsibility to interpret.
Okay. I'll now go for short answers in this because I want to understand the context actually. There are comments online, really. I have to read them later on. But for now, I want to understand this. Do you think this constitutional process was rushed, given its significance? Do you think it was rushed?
I will say the greatest of care was taken. If I'm not mistaken, this process would have started in March or February, thereabout. Myself and my brother, Honorable Timbo, we were here severally on hot seat arguing these very provisions. Honorable Timbo was of the view that it was not published in two successive gazettes. We had the time frame. We went on all the media, and all of those safeguards were taken step after another.
Okay.
I mean, the Attorney General listened. All of those tensions came. They subsided. And even before that one, there was a privilege where all Sierra Leoneans were invited in Parliament to give their views, to submit their papers. Papers were submitted. Those papers were taken into cognizance.
I'm happy you mentioned the papers. Were these papers taken into cognizance? Because from what we've heard over the years, we've interviewed civil society, even paramount chiefs, that their positions were different from what is even in the law now. Most of them kicked against the PR.
So
it would seem.
We had always said...
Were their views taken into cognizance at all?
Yes. So you have to also know that this bill is informed principally by two documents.
Yeah.
The parent document was the Edmund Cowan 80-man committee, of which I was a member, which gave rise to a white paper that was developed by the All People's Congress, in which the All People's Congress accepted the PR system in their white book. And the process was taken further by this current government, by also issuing another white paper in which they supported the acceptance of the APC in also accepting the PR. Okay, so the 50+1 was accepted by the APC in their white paper. It is also accepted by this administration in the white. So this bill is informed by the wider consultation of Sierra Leoneans, of which I am an anthill of the savannah grassland, where myself and Justice Edmund Cowan of blessed memory went through all the districts, and there were town hall meetings. Honorable Mohamed Bangura was a member. In that meeting, my duty was to give an overview of this 1991 Constitution for the edification of people, and issues were discussed issue by issue. And the people agreed that one, they wanted the PR system, the entire Sierra Leonean. They agreed.
The entire Sierra Leone?
The entire Sierra Leone agreed
that they wanted PR.
That was how it found itself in the Edmund Cowan report.
What about the position papers, from the paramount chiefs, even the civil society? All of them
At
kicked
which stage did they come, sir?
The position papers to Parliament for this particular amendment, they published. Even
so I am
Inter-Religious Council, for example.
I have not seen any position paper of the...
You've not read position papers from these groups?
Yes, I am being very honest. During that privilege.
I'm a bit shocked, really, that you would say that.
Yes, no, I'm being very honest, to my faith.
Aren't these things supposed to be part of the process?
I am telling you, at the committee, at the privilege, in fact, what I saw there was the Attorney General putting all of them on the spot, vis-a-vis the consultation that he has had with all of them, putting even APC on the spot. And no single APC member came out in that committee room to say they had not been consulted as stated by the Attorney General in that room. They put them on the spot.
I had referred to this earlier as, legislative hypocrisy, because again, from what Honorable Gevao is saying this morning, the learned Attorney General has also said the same things to me here, that the APC had agreed to all of these things before proceeding to Parliament. Was this a kind of public charade, just to divert the attention of the public, or what?
There's a saying, there's a poet, William Brandt, once said, the truth crushed to the ground must rise.
Okay.
And I want to use this to reference the fact that the Honorable here, trying to contend on the press statement by the APC, saying they did not go for a simple majority. But that's besides the point. If he referenced SO40, SO44, SO40, 44, 4. And if that is the case, all the APC members that were not in the jurisdiction, once added to the 49, will have made 51 members of parliament. If you do the math, it will give you 148 members of parliament. Then if you take 2/3 of that, it will give you 98.6. Of course, in human form, it will be 99, because in mathematics you round up. So even if they have used 31, so they've used 91, subsection 1, in terms of members of parliament present and voting, they will not have been able to get the 2/3 based on the members of parliament present and voting.
Right.
Also, he wants to reference Edward Cowan. But I'm telling you, we cannot have changed this constitution by merely simple majority. And for the good reason, that's why presidents before this president have ensured that we get national consultations.
Right.
Peter Tucker report was a national engagement. Justice Edmund Cowan's was also a national engagement in which, as he intimated, a lot of reports, a lot of engagements, a lot of consultations. Over about 80 Sierra Leoneans were in that committee. Then even after 2023, in our consultation after the tripartite, it was a national engagement. Right. Like you stated, interreligious council were contacted, paramount chiefs, women's group, CSOs, civil society organizations were all contacted, and all of them pointed against the PR. So that argument
wasn't it even your duty in Parliament to argue on behalf of these people who attended position papers?
We did. We did. In all our debates.
Are you saying that they didn't listen to you?
No, they haven't. They haven't. I mean, in all our media engagements, we've stated that. We've stated that so many times in different ways. And to them, they always want to go back to Edward Cowan. Okay. And that's 17 years ago. Okay. We should be informed about what's happened of current or recent times. Right.
Before I take the messages online, Honorable Governor, do you think the President will assent to this bill?
I agree.
Given the huge, so. Parliamentary, tussle, if you like to call it, for lack of a better word, hula baloo, if you like, and even the controversies or enigma, if you like. Well, let's say the legal enigma now. Because now the Parliament is interpreting, they've even sent it to the Supreme Court to make an interpretation. What if perhaps, eventually, let's speak about the peradventure. Supreme Court ruled against what the Speaker had said, or interpreted it differently. What would happen? Do you think that would be a problem for the House, for the entire House?
The Supreme Court ruling is always law.
Yeah.
Judgment law.
So what if they ruled against what the Speaker had said?
If they rule, then their ruling will be respected.
Okay. And you would go back to the House to debate this?
Their ruling, I will not foretell what will happen. Okay.
But wouldn't it affect the proceedings that you've had?
If you look at section 94, it also says no court has the right to inquire into the rulings of the Speaker.
Not even the Supreme Court?
Yes.
Can challenge the Speaker?
Yes. Okay. Yes, it's there.
So in essence, you're saying that even if the Supreme Court ruled against what the Speaker had said...
I can read it for him. He knows.
Yeah, so let's say, give and take, that they don't see eye to eye, and then the Supreme Court came back with its ruling and it's against the Speaker. The Speaker cannot, in good conscience, revert his decision.
As I sit here, I have told you what the Constitution says, the very Constitution that they... So I don't know what they'll be inquiring into. I don't know whether it's the ruling of the Speaker they'll be inquiring into. But the Constitution, the very...
But I feel it's the interpretation of the law, actually. Yes. To know whether he was right or wrong.
The very Constitution says the Supreme Court, no court has the right, or the rulings of the Speaker cannot be inquired into by any court. It did not take out one court. Again, you asked me whether I think the President is going to sign. As an elected member of Parliament who went through all the pains to ensure that this bill was passed procedurally and legally so.
Even with the controversies?
For me, the controversies are illegal and deliberately orchestrated controversies. Unless the President wants to continue condoning us members of Parliament with regards illegality when the issue is legal, perhaps walking out of Parliament for no just cause, which has been the vogue, unless if he wants to, it is only then and then that he will not sign this bill. But if the President is a President that stands for legality and has seen that we have followed through this true and true, certainly so. The President, I know, that took an oath to uphold the tenets of this Constitution, we so sign that bill.
All right. Let's see what Mystic says from the ZAC. I'm reading now the comment online. It says, many Sierra Leoneans have described the passage of the PR system as a constitutional breach, citing the required two-thirds majority threshold. Others argue that the 2023 elections did not deliver the political diversity expected from PR compared to more diverse parliament produced by the 2018 elections, which included 4 political parties and 3 independent MPs. Ultimately, the focus should be on ensuring that our electoral system promotes genuine representation, diversity, and public confidence. Amara Kalod is saying, what happened in Parliament? The initial votes were on the clauses that constituted the bill. This was a standard parliamentary procedure intended to secure the approval of the members of each individual clause. Such clauses require only a simple majority. Two-thirds majority is required for the bill itself, and that requirement applies at the third reading at the committee stage. as provided under Section 108. APC voted on the first and second clauses through a voice vote, but later challenged the Speaker's decision, claiming that the voices had been interfered with. In response, the Speaker ordered the strangers to leave the chambers to prevent any possible, interference with the voice. When the nation's decision makers always have a backup plan, it's those of us with nowhere else to go who end up paying the price. We need leaders who have to live with the exact same choices they make for the rest of us, Ambassador Paulman Pekin is saying. Victor, they will soon start to argue. I think need to put them in order so that the program will unfold perfectly. I think for the government is trying to take advantage of the Constitution and the opposition, because according to some sections of the Constitution, stated clearly that some of these sections cannot be changed with or without any disagreement. But today in Sierra Leone, politicians are disrespecting the Constitution for their selfishness, and because of the way they're interfering with the Constitution, that's why the country will never progress, due to the attitude of members of Parliament, and members of Parliament who have the responsibility to protect the Constitution and the people of this country. There are a lot of messages actually, but we're out of time actually. So what I will do is to go for your departing statement.
So, Ms. Claire, it's unfortunate that Honorable Guevara will say they went by the Constitution, where it's clear in the subtitle. Okay. The side notes that alteration of this Constitution, and that is 108. Every section in the Constitution has its side notes. Secondly, it is clear that they've gone against even what the standing order stated in terms of how you account number of votes. It's clear that even in the acquisition of the 2/3, they were not able to get the 2/3 that they wanted. Even if it had to be with the members of Parliament present and voting, they would have needed 98. And it's clear that you cannot change the Constitution by a simple majority. That is clear. So I want to end on that what they did was unconstitutional. And of course, the Supreme Court is only warranted to interpret the Constitution. And Honorable Guevara here has been one of the architects of what happened, because he's the one that has propagated this message on public platforms, then in Parliament, and let it go on record that he was one of the people that helped to change this Constitution illegally.
And finally, just to be clear, you're not going to, petition this particular proceeding to the Supreme Court. You're not going to do anything.
The party we are engaging. We have party members that could do it as individuals.
Would it result to you going to the Supreme Court?
Yeah.
All right.
It's an interpretation.
By his comment, I will be approaching the Inspector General of Police for my personal security, because a member of Parliament has sat on camera to say I have propagated something that is illegal that has to do with the nation. And as such, I want the President and the Inspector General of Police to take my security very paramount, because what he has done, he has positioned me as against the venom of the Sierra Leonean populace, which is something as a lawmaker he should not do. I am very serious. I will not sit here to say Honorable Infa is the proponent of an illegality, thereby risking his life, his very existence in Sierra Leone. So I wish the Inspector General of Police, the leader of government business, the Speaker of Parliament, the Chief Justice, and the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone takes this very serious. I am very apprehensive of my life, because a colleague brother of the All People's Congress has exposed me to danger.
No, I have not done that.
No, my position.
I've said what has happened. Everybody has seen that.
I will tell you on the Constitution, I don't know where he got his own mathematics figures. I mean, by the calculation, we got 2/3 majority because we got 97 votes. Their numbers, 2 of their members voted for the Constitution. 3 of their members were absent. 2 of which took official leave of Mr. Speaker, and by computation, 97 is 2/3 of those members of parliament by that computation. Right. And I will say to the second texter, he is not a lawyer, but he just got it right. You cannot walk out of parliament because a clause voting did not follow section 108(2) paragraph B. Right. What they did was depriving the Sierra Leonean populace of the value of their money for which they always pay them to go represent them, and it is wrong. It was wrong for the Chief Electoral Commissioner. It is wrong on this occasion again, and I will tell you, before the end of this parliament, they will repeat it over and over. Right. And there has to be a stop to this particular action, as President Anes Bai Krumah once says. You boycott the people will boycott you.
Honorable Givao, thank you so very much indeed for coming this morning, and also Dr. Umfa from the All People's Congress. We surely will be getting you subsequently from time to time to make clarifications on not only, in fact, this particular bill, which will become law perhaps soon, but many other relevant provisions that we will be discussing before the next elections. This is where we'll end this particular segment of the program, but don't go away. Shall be talking to Swat Baidan in a few minutes from now about the International Youth Day that we're celebrating today. Stay tuned.
More and more people are using Wakeup SIM Copper Plus in their everyday lives. Did you hear that? She just transferred money for her daughter's school fees. And this man just paid for some products. Ah, Mr. Abu, are you sending money to your wife again?
Yes, like Wakeup SIM Copper.
Ah.
Yes, like having money in my pocket.
Ah, excellent.
Thank you.
He just bought some eggs. The world is digital, so keep up with the times. Have you got a payment to make? If so, just download Wakeup SIM Copper Plus now. You can download the Wakeup SIM Copper Plus app from Apple iStore and iPad or Google Play Store for Android users. You see, it's fast, safe and reliable.
Checking your motor insurance status can be done easily now with AfriCell. Dial *9292# from your AfriCell line. Press 1 to enter your vehicle registration number. Enter your vehicle registration number. You receive a confirmation message indicating your motor insurance status. AfriCell, the network for you.
Here's how to load your AfriMoney Visa card. Dial *161 *5 *4#. Press 2. Enter account ID on the back of your Visa card. Enter the last 4 digits on the card. Enter the amount. Enter your AfriMoney PIN. Please securely save your PIN to prevent unauthorized transactions from your card. For more information, call 088-326-326. AfriMoney prepaid Visa card. Safe, simple, accepted everywhere. Download and register My AfriCell Sierra Leone new app today and enjoy 1 GB data for free. Valid for 3 days only. To download the app, scan the QR code or download it directly from Google Play Store or App Store. Download now and get the My AfriCell Sierra Leone new app features. For more info, call 111. Wetin you be dey fan don finally come. We don bring come we AfriCell loyalty program wey dey make you get loyalty points with every top up wey you do with AfriCell.
The more you top up, the more points you go get, where you can now exchange for minutes, data, phones, discount, and even cashback.
E no tap there o. You can also gain points with every transaction wey you dey do with AfriMoney. Any top up wey you do with AfriCell, dey count.
Dial star 4232 hash for join the loyalty program for free and start for get you points now. The more you connect, the more you collect na the loyalty program from AfriCell.
AfriCell, now we network.
All right, welcome back. You're still watching Wake Up Sierra Leone live on the Africa Young Voices, and it's the midweek edition, of course. My name is Victor Jones. Continue to drop your comments on our Facebook page or any of indeed our online streaming platforms. We'll ensure to read them before the program ends. But just yesterday, there was a major, shake-up of the President Bio's cabinet. Heads rolled, some transferred to other ministries, others completely redundant. So let's see what happened yesterday. On the list here, which is the official release from, the presidency actually, Mr. Karifa A.F. Kagbo now superintends the Ministry of Finance as the minister. We have Mr. Mohamed Rahman Soare, who is now the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. Umaru Napoleon Kuruma now serves as Minister of Employment, Labour and Social Security, where Mohamed Rahman Soare had previously served, before being transferred to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where Timothy Kaba was serving. We have Janeba J. Bangura, who is now the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. Dr. Stephen A. Jusu is the Deputy Minister of Energy too. Mr. Fode Musa Fofana now acts as Deputy Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources. Mr. Abu M. Kane is now the Commissioner General, National Revenue Authority. Mr. Prince A. Bul Lusene now oversees the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency as Executive Director, where Andrew Jakaikai was serving until yesterday, when in fact we were together at Turku for the destruction of those boxes of tramadol. He actually didn't know that he had been sacked actually while delivering his speech yesterday. And now we have Edmond Noni, who now serves as Deputy Commissioner General 2 of the National Revenue Authority. Professor Fode M. Jawad is now Ambassador of the Republic of Sierra Leone to the Republic of Qatar. Mr. Sheku A.F. Bangura, who was the country's Minister of Finance, now serves as Presidential Advisor. Next to, of course, Mr. Timothy Musakaba, who also, just like Mr. Sheku Fantamadi Bangura, now serves as Presidential Advisor, a man who had once served as the country's Foreign Affairs Minister, where Abdurrahman Soare now, superintends. Dr. Sati Kane is now Chairman, National Public Health Agency. Dr. Donald Alpha Bashtaki, Chairman, Tobacco and Nicotine Control Council. And the last on the list for now is Professor Jibril Fadluddin, who is now the Chairman, Teaching Hospitals Complex Administration Board. These are, the major changes that happened yesterday afternoon. A lot of people have been discussing these changes, so these are your new ministers, our ministers appointed by the head of this country. Now, let's move on. It's International Youth Day. Government says it is working to create 500,000 jobs for young Sierra Leoneans over 5 years, while also investing in skills training, entrepreneurship and enterprise development. But for the young people who benefit from these interventions, what happens beyond the training or initial opportunity. For 22-year-old Ramatu Karim Kante, final year development communication students, one government supported program has given her skills, practical experience, if you'd call them, and startup capital to begin building her own livelihood. Now, Sierra Leone joins the rest of the world to celebrate International Youth Day today. AYV's Joseph Adomambu and his camera operator Daniel Fobi look at what these opportunities mean for young people and what more may be needed to help them to move from training into, if you like, sustainable employment and enterprise. Here's the story.
For Ramatu Karim Kante, the journey towards entrepreneurship began with an opportunity. A World Bank-supported project targeting 8,000 young people with skills and support to establish businesses. The 22-year-old, who is completing a final year in development communication, was trained in the continental dish aspect of the program. But the intervention did not stop at training. Ramatu says participants were also provided with cash support to help them start businesses.
Being that I don't go learn different skills, before college they open back, I use that money they where they give me. For that put last see how my business go able to grow concerning continental dishes there, different dishes there. So I'm they prepare them food there and they go in office to office, they go and left them.
For Ramatu, the value of the program is therefore not only the training certificate or the skills acquired. It is an opportunity to put those skills into practice. She tried to turn the skills acquired through the program into an income-generating activity. But her experience also raised a broader question. How can government ensure that young people who receive training and startup support are able to sustain their businesses and create lasting livelihoods?
I do business now one, but for Sabidu and back now the other thing. So I feel like me, apart from the funds, I need extensive training on entrepreneurship, how to balance the demand of food and the quality and the quantity where they put out for the right price. Because now that's some major issue where they get.
In his state opening address in Parliament, President Julius Maada Bio said government is pursuing a target of creating 500,000 new jobs over 5 years through the Youth Employment Scheme. He also said government will publish the verified cumulative employment figure of how much of that has been actualized.
I have directed that they verify the verified cumulative employment figure be published, clearly stating what is counted, the sector involved, and job durations.
For Sierra Leone's youth, opportunity is only the beginning. But the bigger question is, can those opportunities lead to livelihoods that can last? For Ramatu, the journey has only begun.
For Ramatu Karim Kante, the opportunity has given her more than a new skill. It has given her a chance to turn that skill into a business. But as government pursues its wider youth employment ambition, the measure of success may ultimately go beyond how many young people are trained or supported. It may lie in how many are able to build sustainable livelihoods, grow businesses, and secure decent work. Joseph Adomambu, AYV News, Freetown.
But quite an uplifting story from AYV's Joseph Adomambu. Thank you so very much indeed for that report. Now this morning to discuss the importance of Youth Day, her journey and her brand ambassadorial role, we've been joined by Swad Baidon, winner of Housemate Salon Season 4, and she's here to talk about her new role as ambassador, but also the International Youth Day that we are celebrating today. Good morning, Swad. It's a pleasure having you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Suppose perhaps the first question would be, for those who don't, well, I wouldn't assume that everyone knows you, so for those who don't know you, who is Swad?
So, thank you very much for that question. And I'm sure most people don't know me, but some definitely know who Swad is. But putting aside being a public figure, I'm simply Swad Baidon, somebody that is very passionate, somebody that goes for whatever she wants. She's a mom. She's the winner of Housemaid Salon Season 4. She's the CEO of Bidon Company Limited and new brand ambassador for the Sierra Leone Commercial Bank.
But I know undoubtedly for many people it has had positive effects on their lives, but to you, what has winning Housemaid Season 4 meant?
So, I must say it's a life-changing journey for me. It's not just about winning the show, all right? It's about the platform I got, you know, after winning the show. So, Housemaid Salon taught me how to be, you know, very, very, very patient.
Okay.
It taught me how to believe in myself. It taught me how to overcome all of my fears. It taught me to be a go-getter and not to be scared of, you know, anything. It taught me not to limit myself to anything at all. So one thing I got from it is the platform, but how are you making use of the platform after the show is what matters. So because of the platform I have, I'm making changes. I'm using this platform to grow my brand, to create opportunities for, you know, young people as me, to, you know, build a brand outside, you know, the housemaid brand.
Stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've already begun, you know, experiencing these life-transforming changes already. You've just been signed as, you know, a brand ambassador for, you know, Sierra Leone Commercial Bank. What does that come with?
If I have to be honest, so first of all, what you have to know is Sierra Leone Commercial Bank is actually the biggest bank in Sierra Leone. It is the oldest bank in Sierra Leone, so it's part of the story of our country.
Okay.
So as a young Sierra Leonean, you know, representing that brand, it's an honor and a responsibility as well. So I don't just want to be the face of the Sierra Leone Commercial Bank. I want to connect the bank with the younger generation, with the younger people. I want them to, you know, understand that banking, investment, financial growth, entrepreneurship is very, very important and is also part of building the future.
What entices you the most, you know, about representing this brand? A lot of people don't, you know, talk about this bank actually.
They don't?
Well, you know, a lot of people have their reservations. You know, it's one of the oldest, perhaps the oldest, in fact, in Sierra Leone.
Not one of the oldest,
you know,
actually the oldest.
Times have changed, you know, the generations are shifting and technology has advanced, you know, so does it excite you at all to represent this bank?
Yes.
Okay.
So
why?
Being the brand ambassador, it excites me, you know, working with that bank because, like I said earlier on, this bank is part of, you know, Sierra Leone's history. So it's like, you know, being happy because you bridge between being, you know, in the bank's past and the present as well. Or the future, right? Because we have always the past, present, and future.
Yeah.
So now, one thing is we don't have to judge a bank based on, you know, the perception you have of it. One thing we do is to evolve. People evolve, businesses evolve as well. So most people know Sierra Leone Commercial Bank to be, you know, the traditional bank, but now they've gone digital, and I'm sure most people doesn't know about it. And I talked about bringing, you know, the young generation to the bank. So the younger generation, they want to feel comfortable. They don't like, you know, stress. They want to get things done at ease. So that is why, you know, they have this card, the Sierra Leone Commercial Bank Visa card.
Visa card, okay.
Yes. So now we the younger generations, we shop online. We have businesses. We go to restaurants to eat. We do everything, and then we want to be able to pay without, you know, discomfort or without stressing ourselves. So with this card, you can pay online. If you're shopping on Shein or Zara or Fashion Nova with a very low discount by the way. And when you get to the restaurant, if you order food, you don't have to go to the bank, you know, to fill a form to get the money. You just have to use this card as well to pay through POS systems as well. So now Sierra Leone Commercial Bank has gone digital. They're no longer the traditional bank
many
you
used to know.
And it's still changing because they have needs of people they have to cater for.
For many, I'm sure watching, you could pass as a shining example to a lot of young people, not least females who are aspiring to become, well, if you like, celebrities, like yourself. In Sierra Leone here, we have over 3 million of our population youth, But we have a problem at the moment, and it's nice we're having this conversation because today is International Youth Day. By the way, happy International Youth Day to you.
Thank you, sir.
And all the youths in Sierra Leone, for being even alive to see this day is a blessing from where we stand. Now, what I want to point to you is this, because I want to pick your brain on this. There is drug crisis right now in Sierra Leone, which was declared a national emergency in 2024 by the President Biya. And fast forward to now, we've been seeing corpses littering our streets, holding centers, even our psychiatric home at Kisii is overwhelmed, really, from taking in these kinds of people. A lot of our fellows have been zombified, if you like, by, the use of kush, tramadol, which were, by the way, burnt yesterday, huge chunk of them, really. But a lot of them have actually lost focus. If you speak with them, most would tell you that they are frustrated and they are turning to drug abuse as a panacea to their problem, temporarily, What would be your golden advice to a lot of young people who feel abusing drugs perhaps is the only way out of their problems?
Okay, so basically, I know most time when it comes to drugs, people, they blame the government, saying, oh, because they're the one who are allowing the import and export of drugs. But I want to say, as Sierra Leoneans, we're all one way or the other, we have things that are bothering us. So drugs shouldn't be the way out. Okay. You should not take drug because you want to feel good or because you want to forget whatever you're going through at the moment. We all have things we're going through. If it's about responsibilities, we all have responsibilities. If it's about you failing your exams, most people are failing their exams, but what you do is get up and take the exams again. So I feel like if you're really focused, you know what you want to do, drugs shouldn't be the solution because you've seen situations wherein they've ruined lives of others, people that are very bright, that could have been, something in the future. So if you know what you want and you know where you came from and you know where you're going, you shouldn't definitely, go for things like drug. If you're stressed, find a therapist, go for a therapy session, or maybe go to bed, sleep, wake up, and start again. So drug isn't the way,
I know. We'll come back to this conversation. Let's just join, Ransford McLean briefly for sport. Good morning, Ransford.
Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me on sports this morning. Our first story has to do with the Sierra Leone suffered the second defeat in the ongoing ICC Under-19 Men's Cricket World Cup Africa Division 2 qualifiers in Rwanda. In a match against the host, Rwanda posted 302 runs, while Sierra Leone were bowled out for 253, resulting in a 49 runs victory for Rwanda. Despite Sierra Leone's loss to host Rwanda, Ibrahim K. Bangura stood out with a superb unbeaten 102 of 106 balls and was named player of the match for his outstanding performance. The team's next challenge is against Mozambique on Wednesday, that's today precisely. Now to another story. FA Cup champions Eastern Lions Football Club have announced the appointment of Patrick Bangura as the new head coach on a 2-year deal. Coach Bangura arrives at the club following an impressive spell with all Edwardians in the recent concluded Leone Men's Premier League. While he played a key role in steering the team to a top 5 finish, his reputation continues to rise, having also been named the new head coach of Sierra Leone Under-17 national men's team, Sierra Star, and will guide the team to the CAF Confederations Cup first preliminary round. And finally, in the international scene, World Cup world football superstar, that's Cristiano Ronaldo, known as CR7, celebrated a major milestone yesterday as he married his longtime partner, that's Georgina Rodriguez. Marking the occasion, Ronaldo posted a photo on Instagram of their hands side by side, displaying their wedding rings with the simple yet heartfelt caption, "C loves G." The post quickly captured the hearts of fans worldwide, demonstrating the special bond between the football icon and Georgiana on their unforgettable day. But that is it for sports this morning. Wake Up Sierra Leone, over to you.
So as we round off Sword, what should your fans, but indeed the entire Sierra Leone, expect from you now that you're taking up this new role as brand ambassador for the oldest bank in Sierra Leone?
Okay, so first of all, I want to make certain things clear. Like I said earlier on, Sierra Leone Commercial Bank is the best bank in Sierra Leone. And I also want people to know that Sierra Leone Commercial Bank is no longer the bank they used to know. Because when you say Sierra Leone Commercial Bank, people has their perception that, oh, this now Mame Oba Bank, but it's actually not. So what I want you guys to know is that the strength of this bank is that, you know, most of our older generation has trusted and grown with this bank, right? Do you agree with me?
I could.
You could.
I could.
So,
yeah,
so it has this, because of, you know, it shows that it's a bank you can trust. Yeah. It's a bank that has experience. The fact that it's the oldest, it's a bank that you can feel comfortable, you know, to open an account with any time you want to. So I want to encourage all of them, you know, to open an account with the Sierra Leone Commercial Bank and to be a part of the Sierra Leone Commercial Bank family, because it is the best bank in Sierra Leone. And also they should expect energy from me. They should expect more content, trying to bring the younger generation on board, trying to teach them about financial inclusion and how important it is to save money, or how important it is, you know, to invest. Because, yes, it's something that is very important. Thank you.
All right, I would like to go, but I'm tempted to ask this final question. You're done with Housemate. You know, I noticed you've swerved into film acting now. It's in its embryonic stages still, but I mean, you've shown great passion for it. What will become of Sword in the next few years?
In the next 3 years, what would become of Sword?
Who would you be in the next few years?
In the next few years, I would be somebody that has accomplished so many things. You know, what can be my company that I'm working on right now, having more, you know, ambassadorial deals, representing brands in Sierra Leone or even outside of Sierra Leone. Obviously, being an actress and having a full-time job, because stability is really important. In as much as you want to be an actress, but you want a permanent job that you know every month will be earning something from, and then obviously other businesses alongside.
Well, we wish you well, Sword, and we pray you succeed.
Thank you.
Indeed. This is where I would say au revoir for today's edition of the program. It's the midweek edition you've been watching here on the Africa Young Voices of Wake Up Sierra Leone. Many thanks indeed to our sponsor, Wakeup Commercial Bank, for their support to the program, and to you, our valued and cherished audiences across the globe. I am Victor Jones, and stay tuned to the AYV throughout the day for more exciting programs which are coming your way. Till we meet again next time, whenever, however, take care of yourselves and have a splendid day. Before I go, please, I almost forgot that we are celebrating one of ours today, one of our most dedicated camera operators, Abubakar Kagbo, alias Boli. I call him Bolai. He's celebrating today. Happy birthday to you, brother. May you live long. And please, do not forget to serve the entire office today. Goodbye.